Hello, I'm Todd Phillips, the editor of Canadian Auto Dealer. We're here today with Jason Stein. Jason's the president of Motormindz. He's the host of the popular Cars and Culture show, radio show on SiriusXM, former publisher of automotive news and industry journalist and veteran of the automotive industry. Well, Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be with you, Todd. Thank you.
Well, we're talking today not about all of that, as interesting as all that might be. We're here to talk to you about your appearance at the CADA Summit. It's happening online on February 16th, and you're going to be playing a key part. And the first part is you're going to be interviewing some leaders to talk about the industry. Tell us a bit about how that opening session is going to go to lead off the summit.
Yeah, of course, Todd, and very thankful and grateful to be part of the summit. Wish we were all together in person, but of course, we can always hope for next year. In the meantime, I think we'll find our way to keep everyone entertained, certainly on the information side, and also just finding out where the industry is right now. And I'll have the chance to sit down with a few industry leaders, some prominent ones on the OEM side. We'll just start there. And Hyundai Canada is going to be represented on Romano, Vito Palladino of Audi, Larry Hutchinson, Toyota. We're going to get the feel for where the chip shortage is, where inventory issues might lie. Of course, a big topic of conversation over the course of the last year or so, going now into year two of that. And what's the sales outlook? When we think about where this auto industry is going over the course of the next, let's say 12 to 18 months, how will these OEMs who've had to adjust to the massive inventory shortages and all of the issues that have persisted around COVID and during COVID, what does that look like going forward? What does it look like at the retail level? What does it look like for automakers in general across the board? Also, really happy to have Howard Thompson, who is the Vice President of Sales, Distribution, and OEM Relationships at TD Auto Finance. He's going to give us a bit of an overview. What's the macroeconomic situation look like in the auto business? And that's everything from the lending side and the availability of lending all the way down to floor planning. And of course, that labor market that's been such a sticky issue over the course of the last year or so.
Well, it's going to be interesting. You and I both talked to people in the industry for a long time. It's one of the most extraordinary period I've been through. So I'm sure I'm very curious to hear what the OEMs have had to say. Just on a personal note, have you ever seen anything like this that we're living with right now?
The auto industry has always been a bit of a roller coaster. There are storylines, as you know, that are abundant. But the storyline that we've been telling and reading over the course of the last 18 months is one unlike any that has ever existed in this industry. When you look at what's happened on the used car side, look at the lack of availability on the new car side, look at profitability for dealers. This is unprecedented for sure. And I think it's going to set the tone for where this whole 2022 goes, and a transformation that's going to occur at the retail level that you've already seen, whether it's consumers getting more comfortable with online ordering, whether it's build to order. There are no shortage of issues that we will be covering as it relates to the industry fundamentals and the industry change.
Well, as people who get to talk to the leaders and the decision makers, it's going to be a great session to really mine some of that terrain and get some answers from them, because it's I'm sure for them it's a pretty extraordinary time as well. So I'm going to pivot a little bit here. Also, after that kickoff session, rather, you're also going to be doing another entertaining session where you're going to be bringing a celebrity guest as part of your radio show on SiriusXM, and you're going to be recording that as part of the summit. So tell us about who you've brought to the table and what we can expect from that session.
For sure. So really fortunate to have had an amazing platform over the course of the last 8 months to interview people for all walks of life related to cars and culture. And of course, the culture part of that is just as important as the automotive part. And so episode 1 had Mark Wahlberg along with Zach Brown of the McLaren F1 team, all the way up to recently, basically the heads of every industry. So if you look at the head of NASCAR, we've had on there. We've had OEM bosses. Well, we're going to get to a really cool OEM boss, the president of General Motors, Mark Royce. And Mark actually satisfies many buckets on the culture side as well as the car side, because as you know, Mark is just ingrained in that racing philosophy. And if you look at the Rolex 24 that was just this past weekend, there is no finer example of the commitment to technology and the cultural aspect of a racetrack than Mark Royce. But he's also running an incredibly huge division globally that is pushing towards electrification and technology and the advancement of General Motors into a whole new company. And Mark will be my guest. He will be a celebrity guest, if you will, because he he does bring together all walks of life as it relates to the passion behind the automobile. Couldn't think of a better guy to have on.
Well, it's interesting in your podcast, you do push that passion and you take your guests beyond just talking about their jobs or their roles, a more traditional journalist role, where you get into the cultural aspect of what the industry means, what it means to them, what fueled them, how they got into the industry and stuff. So it really is for people who have automotive in their veins, and it's really led to a really entertaining program. So kudos to that. So you're looking forward to finding a little more about Mark Royce and then sharing it with the dealers, I guess.
Yeah, Mark's going to tell his story, and he'll tell a little bit of a story of growing up in the GM family, of course, with his father, who was the head of GM as well. Just that passion that runs through that family, not only from a racing perspective, cars, car design, product development. Mark is he definitely wears his emotions on his sleeve. We had some great conversations over the years in my former role. And I know it'll be entertaining for everybody just to find out a little more about who Mark Royce is and where General Motors is going.
Well, we could talk all day because that's what we do for a living, but I'm going to maybe stop it there so that we can encourage dealers to show up on February 16th. Make sure you register for the summit. Hear Jason Stein talk to the OEM leaders, talk to business leaders, and a celebrity guest, Mark Royce, at the summit. Well, Jason, thanks for joining us today and giving us a little taste of what we can expect.
My pleasure. We'll hope to see everybody there.
Okay, thanks a lot then. Signing off.